Hello and welcome to episode 53 of Game Patrol. I'm your host, Landon Plumley, and Justin is unable to join us today. He is currently just super busy with school and everything, being the end of the semester and all. Uh, so he will not be joining us today. So, a little fireside chat, you and me. Hey, how's it going? Maybe I do a little ASMR for you guys. The wet, dripping swamp was full of many marvelous creatures. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. But it's good to be back here. Hopefully, I will maintain some sort of normalcy in terms of the schedule and how things operate. I don't know. I'm just doing my best. But I love making content. I want to be able to build something here. And I love this podcast. I mean, this podcast has been going on longer than anything else of my content, and unfortunately, this is only the 53rd episode in the over 2 years that I've been doing this now, but still enjoying it nonetheless. And I think it is, something I work really hard on, and hopefully, more and more people will appreciate that and tune in because I got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. But um, that being said, let's get into what I've been playing this week. First off, it's a lot. Yeah, there's quite a bit of gameplay havings here this week. I've kind of jumped back into the swing of things, but I've also been playing a bunch of games with friends. And so I'm happy to be playing video games again. I think it's super fun and there's a lot of cool stuff to talk about with all of them. So, first off, I just got done streaming Overwatch about an hour ago, little over an hour ago. I started streaming again recently. Very happy about that. So if you guys are interested, over on Twitch at Panamaster Twitch, I stream every Tuesday, currently at 9 p.m. Eastern to 1 a.m. Although that's subject to change. It'll pretty much always be on Tuesdays. For now, I don't know. I we'll see what happens. My schedule is going to change here soon. For too long, but as of right now, I'll always be on Tuesdays. But I stream once a week for now. Still growing my audience and finding time to do all of that sort of thing. And so, yeah, I streamed some Overwatch. It was a lot of fun. Overwatch is one of my most played games ever, and so I figured why not? It's a game that I would like to think I'm fairly good at in certain aspects, and so I had a lot of fun. So yeah, make sure to drop by if that sounds of interest to you. Not always going to be streaming Overwatch. I am a variety streamer, but I've been kind of tinkering with different games to play, and yeah, having some fun with that. So, that's what I do. But I also started playing some Tunic this week. So I'm only a couple hours in. So these are definitely first impressions. But I'm having so much fun with that game. So it is definitely hardcore Zelda vibes. I mean, everybody's been saying it. But yeah, it is classic Zelda modernized, essentially. I mean, you play as this fox, very little information. I mean, I'm still not exactly sure what I'm doing. I've just kind of been plopped into this land, and I think it's really cool. So throughout the world there are these pages, that you pick up, and it will give you information, basically, a little bit of information about the world, a little bit of like tips as for gameplay, things like that. And there's also this language in the world that you don't understand. So a lot of times you have to use context clues like pictures and things like that. Sometimes it does have things translated for you. And so I'm curious if you sort of learn the language as you go and more will be revealed. I kind of hope that's the case because I always think that sort of system in games is cool, if it's handled right. Sometimes it can be annoying, but I always like the idea of learning a language as you go and then having access to more and more stuff. I think games that do that are pretty cool. So I don't know if that's exactly what they're going for in the game or not, but I have enjoyed that sort of aspect of, you as a player are learning along with the character. I guess you're all going off the same information, but a lot of it is basically exploring. Why did my screen My screen just shut off. Don't know what that was about. Anyway, um, yeah, it was just one of those things where I lost my train of thought after that. Oh, so you just kind of explore, and you gain equipment that helps you access areas that you couldn't access before. And so I've just been having a lot of fun with it because any sort of route I take doesn't necessarily feel like it's a bad one. And if I kind of get stuck in one spot, I just kind of like start exploring elsewhere, and usually that will help remedy my situation. One of the things that's important in the game, which can kind of irk me, is like resource management. It's not like you're really dealing with inventory space or anything like that, but more so just trying to make sure you're equipped with like bombs and different things, because there are some enemies that just are extremely difficult to tackle unless you have some sort of ranged weaponry. But that can be kind of irksome sometimes. But there's also like merchants who can sell you that, and coins are relatively easy to come by. Except every time you die, it's like a Dark Souls mechanic where like your soul's left with some coins, not all of your coins, just some of your coins. Where if you go back to the spot where you died, you can recover them. And so that's a sort of nice system. I've only lost out on my coins a couple of times, and I'm not gonna lie, I haven't paid attention whether it's all or some. I just kind of assumed it was some. I think it's some. I don't think you lose all your coins, but it's only happened to me a couple times where I've actually lost out on those coins. Most of the time I can get back and recover, but there have been some parts. The game can be difficult sometimes, and I think it's one of those where it's like it really is on you. Like a lot of mistakes are kind of yours to make. It's not really on the game, but it can definitely get pretty irksome, especially once you acquire a shield, because then it's like it's not super responsive. In like, he doesn't just immediately whip out the shield. It's like kind of like a little bit of a delay that it takes for him to actually put the shield up. So if you're going for those like last second shields, you will be very disappointed. That's gotten me upset a couple of times. But it's really, really fun. I really like the progression, and apparently it's like a 12-hour game, so I'm not super far in yet, but the couple of hours I've played, I've really enjoyed. I'm going to be playing some more tomorrow / today. It's because it's 2:24 in the morning right now. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. I think it's super cool, and it's also on Game Pass. So if you guys have Game Pass, you guys should just check it out, because it doesn't cost you anything, and it's super, super fun. So if you like old school like 2D Zelda, like this is it. Like, this is a dope game to actually like to play with. It's super fun, super fun. And then also a bit of a weird pick. Played some Jetpack Joyride the other day. So basically, my best friends came from 2 hours away to visit for the weekend. We went out, had some fun, but essentially during the day on Saturday, we were just kind of chilling at my house. They came to stay with me, so we were just trying to figure out things to do. We were looking through PlayStation Now, because it has just like hundreds of games, right? So we were just looking through, trying to figure out like, if there's anything of interest to us, because we didn't have to install it or anything. We could just stream. And then we saw Jetpack Joyride, and we're like, what the heck? And then one of my friends was like, I was like, I bet I can kick your ass. And without saying a word, I just launched the game, and I was like, bet. And so we ended up playing Jetpack Joyride, the four of us, just like we'd play around, hand off the controller, and just try to beat the high score every time. We got up to like, I think like 3,600 meters, but dude, Jetpack Joyride, so much fun. And we thought it was hilarious that we were playing Jetpack Joyride in 2022 on a PS5, streaming from a PS3. Like, it was just such a crazy combination of, this mobile game that we're playing on a PS5 in 2022. It was just, it was nuts. But we had fun. Jetpack Joyride is a hell of a game, and if you don't know what it is, you should check it out. I think it's still an app. I think you can still download it. I don't really know, but yeah, fantastic game. Fantastic. Next up, I was playing a little bit more Ghostwire Tokyo. So I played a few hours when it first came out, and then just kind of got busy and left it for a little bit. But when my friends came up, or down, I should say, I hadn't tried it out because one of my friends just built a new PC, so he was asking me about, like what games to pick up, and he was specifically looking for more like new games to really kind of push the hardware. And so I was like, oh, Ghostwire Tokyo. And so I was like, if you're kind of on the fence, you can play it because I have it. So we kind of like switched on and off, playing some more of the game. That game's super fun. It's one of those, open world checklisty games, and so if that's not your vibe, you're not really gonna have fun with it. But it's a fun game. You sit back and do it. I get that the combat can be kind of repetitive, and that definitely is the weakest area of the game because you're just kind of walking back and doing different variations of spells and stuff like that. And the system itself, like I feel like they tried their best to fix it. I think the developers knew it was the weakest area, but just its foundation, there's only so much you could really do with it. And I don't really have a solution, for like how they could have fixed it, how they could have made it better. It was just one of those, like, because you can't take very many hits. And so I don't know if they should have had a more robust, like, countering system or something like that. Maybe make you a little more spongy. Maybe that would have helped. Um, I think personally movement, like I haven't delved too much into the skill tree, but I was hoping that there was like a dash ability at some point or something like that. I think increasing the mobility would make it a little bit better too. But it's definitely the weakest area of the game, but it's still fun. Like it's super fun acting like you're Doctor Strange, exercising exorcising spirits and just doing spells and stuff like that. It's fun to play that out. So it's still fun, but it can definitely, I get where it can kind of wear people down a little bit. And I think that it is probably the weakest area of the game, but still really fun. I'm into the story, whether or not I'm going to beat it, who knows? I would hope to, but I'm terrible at that. So, my main focus right now is Tunic. So yeah, whether or not I finish Ghostwire, I don't know, man. Also played a little bit more of the new Mario Kart tracks in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So for those that don't know, Boost Course Pass, super freaking excited about. Like I love Mario. Like Mario Kart 8 is one of my favorite games. It's my go-to. Like if I don't know what to play, I'll load up some Mario Kart, have fun with it. The biggest thing, I just if I'm with people, always Mario Kart 8, like gonna play some of that, either that or Smash, depending on the audience. But Mario Kart's just the go-to co-op game. It's fun. But playing myself, I kind of had enough. Like you can only play the courses so many times, and I pretty much perfected everything there was to do in that game. So when they announced the Booster Course Pass, I was like, oh, yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh, yes, 100%. So happy about that. So, these first ones, I've super enjoyed them. I know people talk about, the quality's kind of lessen on the Switch port versus just how things have been. I get that. I really do, but gameplay is king, and they're super fun to play. I really like all the tracks. I think they've done a great job to Choco Mountain and Coconut Mall, super fun, but also the mobile ones are surprisingly fun. I like the variation in it. Ninja Hideaway is super fun with the whole upper layer. I think they're a lot of fun. I really like the new maps. I think they're fun, and just having some new content in Mario Kart is just, it's all I really need to make me happy. You don't need to do much with it. Just make sure it's playable and I'll be good to go. And that's what they did. So, I'm happy with it. I've been having fun with it, playing it with my friends, showing it to them because they didn't even realize it was a thing. And so, yeah, been having fun playing Mario Kart again because it's, hell yeah, man. I love Mario Kart. It's just so good. I've also been replaying the Batman Telltale game. So I haven't played season 2. But I started replaying season 1, and I'm looking to get into season 2 afterwards because I've been on a huge Batman kick. I can't remember if I said that last episode or not, if that was even before. I don't remember. But I'm obsessed with the Batman. I think it's a masterpiece of a film. I've seen it 4 times in theaters, and now I'm waiting until HBO Max. I've had my fill. It's off of IMAX mostly because I've seen it 4 times in IMAX, and now freaking Morbius has come out, and there's no way I'm watching that pile of crap. But it's taken over the IMAX, so I'm like, okay, well, it comes out on HBO Max April 19th, so I'll just wait then and watch it. Again, in the comfort of my own home. And so, yeah, I think that movie's a masterpiece. So it's got me super into Batman. I got the Batman box set, which looks really, really nice. Here, I'll actually show it off for my YouTube watchers. But so basically, this is a box set of all of the comics that Matt Reeves was inspired by when making the Batman. And so it includes The Long Halloween, Year One, and Ego and Other Tales. So I got that, read them all. Personally, my favorite is Ego. All the Darwin Cook content. I think he's a master of Batman. He's, oh my, it's really good. The best of it being Selina's Big Score, which is basically a comic about Catwoman just attempting a heist. Pretty much, it's the bare bones plot, but it's really, really well written, and I just think that I'm forgetting his name, but Darwin Cook. I just think he's a fantastic writer, and he really gets into the psychological aspect of Batman and the Batman family, Ego especially too. It's really, really good, and I think that comparatively the other two are a little overhyped, which I think in part is because they're classics that have been adapted so many times, and I've seen those adaptations that reading the original just doesn't feel as rewarding anymore. So I say it with that in mind, but I just thought there were some imperfections sprinkled throughout them, especially in The Long Halloween. Year One I liked, but The Long Halloween I was kind of lukewarm about. But anyway, I've been on a huge Batman kick because of the Batman, so I've been reading a lot of comics, been watching a lot of Batman content, getting into the animated series, and playing Telltale because I think that it's a fantastic game. I haven't played The Enemy Within yet, but the first game is just so good. I think the QuickTime events are ridiculous in episode 1, but they actually fixed it. I wish they would go back and fix it with the first one, but they fixed it in subsequent episodes. But I kept missing prompts because they just went so freaking fast in the first episode. But everywhere else. But the story is just so good. And a lot of that game, you're not actually playing as Batman, but I don't mind it because I'm so interested in just the politics of Gotham. Gotham is such a well fleshed out city that I think the Telltale games just do a great job at getting into all the different characters, because there are so many rich characters in Gotham that you don't need to have it constantly be a Batman action flick. Sorry, I'm going to take a drink here. I should have mentioned earlier, I have a sinus infection, so that's why my voice is kind of off. But apologies for that. But yeah, there's so many characters in Gotham, and Telltale takes advantage of that. They're narrative kings. I'm super excited for The Wolf Among Us 2, even though I know it's not the real Telltale. It's a sort of pseudo Telltale type of situation. But yeah, I love Telltale, and so Batman's just really freaking good. I really, really love it. So I've been playing that. I think I'm 3 episodes in. I think I played the first 3. I mean, I played the whole season before. Yeah. I played the first 3 episodes. And then things got kind of busy this weekend, so I haven't played in a little bit, but I want to play some more. Just haven't had the time. And then I've been playing Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. That's the last game on my list here. I've been playing it with my best friends. The 3 of us have all been playing, and it's a lot of fun. It's super fun. My biggest issue with Borderlands games, they can get kind of repetitive. They lean on the go here, shoot this structure, and Tiny Tina is no exception to that. But there's a little more variety and fun you can have there. I love the D&D aspect of it. It's so nerdy. We were having fun kind of making different characters. I went with the Necromancer type route. I forget what it's called. But I'm really excited to build it out and just suckle health away from these people. I think it's going to be really fun to build out and just, be super, super dope. But we're not super far in. I want to say we played maybe a couple hours. And I was actually going to text them soon about finding another time to play. We were going to play this weekend while they were up, but we didn't plan on it. So then we tried, and Matt couldn't access his computer. we just downloaded Bagels onto my computer because I have it on the PlayStation. But we couldn't get Matt's computer to respond from home, and he didn't have anything to play it on at here. So that was annoying. Um, well, when I say we couldn't get his computer to respond, I mean couldn't get access to the computer because the software wasn't is a little complicated. But anyway, um, yeah, so we couldn't play this weekend, but I'm gonna try and see if I can get him to play this upcoming weekend. Oh crap, I think Bagel might be working. I don't know, but looking forward to playing that some more, essentially. But yeah. So those are the games I've been playing this week. Now, getting into the news. First off, what I'm super, super excited about, we're getting a new Tomb Raider game. Finally, Crystal Dynamics announced with the release of Unreal Engine 5 yesterday that they're making a new Tomb Raider game. They didn't really say much about it. They just said that it's going to be utilizing Unreal Engine 5 and, the classic stuff, that's going to improve upon the genre, take the genre to new heights, blah, 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 blah. It's going to be a new certain thing for Lara Croft, blah, 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 blah. Either way, I'm excited because the Tomb Raider trilogy is fantastic. I never actually beat Rise. I've only played the first few hours of that game, and I know a lot of people claim it's the best one. Tomb Raider 2013 will always have my heart. I don't care. I love that game. I think it's it's perfectly paced. It's just perfectly put together. That sort of pseudo open worldness was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot. I also thought Shadow was really good too. It had its flaws, but I still really enjoyed it, and it was one of the most beautiful games I'd ever played at the time. It was one of the reasons. It was the first game I played on my Xbox One X. When I finally picked one up, it was Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I think it came bundled, if I remember correctly, but it was fantastic. I loved it. So, it was probably, the least of the three, because I can't really say about Rise. I know a lot of people love it, but yeah, the first one will always have my heart, but I love those games. And so finally hearing they're making another one, I will eventually go back and beat Rise. I want to replay the whole trilogy. I've played the first one. God, I don't even know how many times, probably like 4 or 5 times, but I've only played Shadow once. And like I said, I still need to get through Rise. So, something I should do probably. But yeah, I'm super excited about this. I mean, Crystal Dynamics, their track record hasn't been great lately. Marvel's Avengers is... I think the campaign is really fun. I think the campaign itself, if it would have just been the campaign, maybe they added on to it. It's a little short. But, the campaign itself, fantastic. It's all the other useless BS that I just can't stand. So yeah, I just wish they would have done more with that. I still haven't played any of the DLC because I just been trying to grind that end game so hard. I just can't do it. It's so bad. It's so horrible. I can't get anywhere with it, and it's just ridiculously long and grindy and bull crap. It's so stupid. It just ruined my experience with the game. But yeah, so it's good to hear that they're going back to Tomb Raider, but they're also working on Perfect Dark for Xbox, which it looks more and more like they're kind of taking charge of that one. But I don't know. Maybe with this announcement, that means that they aren't as much, and they are sticking as a support studio. But who knows at this point? Who knows? I'm going to take another drink, and then we'll get on to our next topic here. So next up, some concept art leaked for Overwatch 2, and it revealed a battle pass section. So, this is obviously an in development thing. Who knows whether or not this is going to come into the final release. I don't think we should necessarily take it as confirmation that there's going to be a battle pass in Overwatch 2, but it's very likely at this point. And honestly, I'm cool with it. I know a lot of the community is kind of upset. They don't want battle pass. I think people that play shooters that don't have battle passes kind of act like they're this rare breed and that they don't need battle passes, and battle passes are somehow bad for the industry. And don't get me wrong, they can be exploitative in nature a lot, but I honestly think a battle pass would be good for Overwatch. So I just mentioned that Overwatch is one of my favorite games. I'm obsessed with it. I've been lapsed for a long time. I would not consider myself to be a pro at the game in any way, but I know my way around it. But it's a game that I immensely enjoy. And so obviously I want to have a reason to keep playing. I want Overwatch 2 to be a success because I get it. I know a lot of people are talking about, they don't understand why Overwatch 2 is a thing. Well, obviously it's a thing because they want to make more money, right? And they want to kind of bring people back in because a game like Overwatch isn't something that necessarily needs a sequel. But I do think it needs a refresher from time to time. Now, that being said, the original game came out in 2016. So realistically for me, I don't think Overwatch 2 needs to happen until 2023, personally. And it's honestly a possibility that that becomes a thing. I think a generational refresh makes sense because, there's only so much you can do to the original game before it becomes something completely different. And that's something that Jeff Kaplan said when they announced Overwatch 2. And God, I miss that man so much. I hope there's not controversy surrounding him. As far as I'm aware, there aren't. But I love that man, and I wish he would have stayed. But yeah, like Overwatch, you eventually need to change. I mean, whether it be upgrading the engine or just kind of like making something better. Like Overwatch was like totally loved, but there are some things people wanted, like more story content, which Overwatch 2 is providing, and like certain tweaks and things that they've been doing either in the game or preparing for Overwatch 2. Like for instance, they said that Doomfist is going to be a tank now, which I think, okay, interesting. Like I'm always interested to see how they're further shaking up the game. It is one of those ever evolving, ever changing games. But I do think that a refresh is needed. For one, to just get people excited again, and have that and see what they can add to the game to make it even better. I'm all for it, And like I said, I think 2023 makes sense. I think if it came out sooner, which it is very possible it comes out this year. I mean, they're doing a beta in just a couple weeks that I signed up for, fingers crossed. So it probably is coming this year. I don't think it necessarily needed to come. I know they planned for it to release even earlier. And yeah, I think that might have been too soon. But I get a generational shift, going into PS5 and Xbox, even though it is a very PC-focused game. The industry's changed since 2016. And I feel like they should change with it, change with the times. And I think a battle pass is part of that change. And I think it's good because my ADHD brain having stuff like a battle pass to work at will help, keep my engagement in something. So I think it's a good thing. I don't necessarily think people need to be so riled up about it, but that's just my opinion. I understand people's frustrations with the concept of Overwatch 2, but I'm all for it. I haven't spent a dime on this game since I bought it at launch. I literally bought it launch day at Best Buy. I remember that day, and I want to do the same thing for Overwatch 2 because I think it's super cool. I enjoy it. I have the box for the game because I bought it physically. Yeah, crazy, right? I know. I bought it physically. I kind of want to do the same for the second so I can say I have both, I think that would be cool. But yeah, I love Overwatch and I want to see it succeed, and I think Overwatch 2 can be a good thing. I'm hoping. I'm not saying it will 100%. I don't say that about any game anymore. Yeah, not after Cyberpunk. But I think it has a good shot at succeeding, and I think it has a reason to be there. But that's just me. Finally, for our big, news story topic, it has been kind of a slow week this week. Is the Series X shortage over? Because it was available at Walmart for almost a week. You could go purchase it online. You could get it. It was retail price and everything. They had it in stock for a fat minute. It's out of stock now. I saw something that if you're Prime, you can still get it. I don't know if that's still accurate or not, but there was a consistent stock of Series X's, and it's also outselling the PS5 worldwide because of that. I feel like I have very rarely seen PS5 drops in the last few months. I think there was one either earlier this week or last week, but they've been pretty sparse. Whereas I've been seeing much more from the Series X about it being available. And then people just kind of realized, hey, this isn't going away. Like, this is still available. And so, yeah, people have been able to get Xboxes. And that's a huge win for Xbox, especially after all the stuff that they announced last year at E3 and around that time. there's a lot of games to look forward to from Xbox. And after having a fantastic fall, having that extra supply, I don't know if that's something they planned or if it was just a happy coincidence, but after having the amazing holiday season that Xbox had in terms of games with Forza and Halo, it's great that now there's this supply coming in of people now wanting to do it. I don't think it was planned, only because I think it would have been even better if they had done it more earlier. I think people have kind of moved on from Forza and Halo now, just as gamers do. We have a very quick attention span. And so I think people have kind of moved on from that Xbox hype, right? We're getting more PlayStation games now with Elden Ring, God of War coming to PC, even though that's, obviously not going to sell PlayStation consoles. But, the Uncharted collection, and Elden Ring, which is multi-platform, but Elden Ring, the Souls community being more so driven towards PlayStation because of Demon Souls and Bloodborne and that. But it's been kind of a PlayStation dominated year thus far, aside from a couple hits like Tunic. But them not being like, Xbox games, just happens to be exclusive. I feel like just like Nobody Saves the World and all these other games like The Ascent, Tunic will eventually come to PlayStation. I feel like that's kind of a certainty at this point. It seems a lot of these games are doing that. We're just getting this timed exclusivity. But, PlayStation's been doing really well now. So I think it could have came a little earlier. So that's what makes me think it wasn't planned. But still, these Xboxes are, becoming more and more available. And they're still selling, so there's still that demand for them. Like Xbox is catching up. I saw video game charts, their latest estimates put the Series consoles at 13 million, whereas the PlayStation 5 is at 19 million. So PlayStation's still ahead, but Xbox is closing that gap because they've been doing well. I mean, you really can't critique Xbox all that much. They've been doing pretty well these last 6 months, and it's exciting. And I'm super excited to see, where it goes. Like Starfield's one of my most anticipated games of the year. And so once this holiday comes, I think Xbox is going to have another great holiday. But it just sucks about Stalker 2, with the development being at a halt because of the war in Ukraine. So that really sucks, because I was also really excited for that game, like really, really excited. So, that sucks. But then there's also Scorn in October. So there's lots of cool things to look forward to with Xbox. I think I'm going to finally buy a Series X for Scorn, because I'm super excited for that game. But we'll see. But yeah, so the shortage might not be over, or it might be over soon. I wouldn't say it's over already, because like I said, I think they finally ran out of stock, or at least they're low on stock. And I think it is going to be a while because, people are going to see this, right? They're going to see that it's available. Then they're going to flock. And I think we're going to kind of get this second wave of a lot of people getting Xboxes, because I think there are plenty of people that have just kind of given up. I know someone who gave up on getting an Xbox because they just couldn't find it. So, those people are going to be like, oh, I can get one now, and then go get one. So I think it's going to create another demand issue or supply issue. Well, they're technically both. But, so I don't think we're necessarily out of the woods yet. I don't want to jump to that conclusion, but it's a good sign. We're getting more supply. Hopefully PlayStation can match that soon. And just everybody in general, even with the Steam Deck, I'm super excited. Got a little bit more update. My Steam Deck is not coming until October at the earliest, but I got an update about it, so hopefully it comes soon. But that Steam Deck, I'm still waiting on mine. Still waiting. Long time. Gives me the time to save up though, because I definitely need to save. But yeah. So anyway, yeah. But other than that, we got some games coming this week. And, it's not much. But there is one notable game, and that is Chrono Cross, the Radical Dreamers Edition for PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC, out tomorrow. So this is a game from a while back that has some pretty big fans. It's been, touched up, remastered, brought to the new consoles, because it's kind of hard to find a good place to play Chrono Cross nowadays. I think some reviews have started trickling in, and they are positive. So for those that were worried, but yeah, if you're into, retro RPGs, I think this one will definitely be for you. So go ahead and check it out if that tickles your fancy. But otherwise, it's a, pretty slow week, like I said. But hopefully we'll have some good stuff to talk about. I mean, everybody's playing Lego Star Wars right now, except for me, I might be a little jealous, but it's whatever. Don't worry about it. But with that being said, I think that's pretty much gonna wrap things up for today. I'm gonna take a drink real quick, but like I said, a bit of a slow week. My sinus infection just makes it a little bit to talk about, and just being on my own here. A bunch of factors lead to the low run time this week, but I'm sure we'll have some stuff to talk about. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Justin said he was gonna make it. He was definitely gonna try and make it next week. So yeah, so Justin should be back next week. We'll have some fun stuff to talk about. But until then, thank you guys for watching / listening / however you're consuming this content. I really do appreciate it. It means the world to me. Share with any friends that might enjoy. I'd like to think I have some cool stuff to talk about and provide with all your little gaming news and things like that. If there's anything you'd like to hear about, let me know. But yeah, so I'm Landon Plumley. You can find me on Twitter over at PanamasterCC. Like I said, I'm streaming on Twitch, Panamaster Twitch, and I also have a YouTube channel that I go by Panamaster, where I'm trying to upload a little more frequently. I'm just getting back into things, so kind of bear with me. I might have a little bit of growing pains here, but hoping to have some content coming at a pretty regular speed here. But that being said, thank you guys. I really do appreciate you. Have a lot of fun here. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next week. So until then, adios.